Hello again. This is Wake Angel 2001 doing a follow-up of my my RC review. Yeah, I told you I wasn't gonna let this go. Now I want to quick give an honorable mention to the Headmaster RC. She did a good job of doing the thing where the car parts turn into robot parts and vice versa, but there's an asterisk next to that in that this is a remold. It was originally Blur and it got remolded into RC. I mean, that's all well and good, but the difference between this one and the other four is that all four of these were an original mold that was meant to be RC from the beginning. So all of their successes and failures are their own, not another character's. That's why we're getting into this. Alright, so as you can see, standing side by side, all four of the RCs that transform into cars, they have various successes in what they do. And I still have to say, in terms of physical engineering of a toy, the original animated RC still stands above them all. I mean, if you look at it, her only kibble, like the two giant shoulder pods, are actually completely intentional. They're a part of RC's look. They're supposed to be there. So this doesn't count as kibble because that's intentional. And oh, it's the only time where the back pods are actually two separate pods. Every other RC, this is just one big thing on her back. So technically speaking, the only kibble is the windshield for her car mode. And you know what? It does a really good job back there just looking like a skirt. It just looks like a piece of skirt armor. Even has an attractively placed Autobot tramp stamp. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So every other part of her car, like the roof of the car is represented as shoulder and elbow armor. The slope of her chest is part of her car. These are the side panels of the car. And the hood makes these nice big boots. Like, every part of her car becomes a part of her robot. Like, this is one that has successfully transformed. So, yes. Like, yes, it does owe to animated styling. So we have a lot more curves and angles. You have physically different proportions. There's no nose, but and of course she's this fuchsia shade instead of that adorable bubblegum pink of the G1 toy, because you know, this was late 2000s Hasbro, and they're all like, boys will never buy a pink toy. Do something. Make it as unpink as you can. Like, yeah, seriously, like, stop being shy about making a girl figure for boys. We'll buy them. Trust us. And that goes for you too, Jax. Give us an Amy Rose. Like, she's also another pink thing that a company that makes toys for boys is hesitating to do. So yeah, like, I would give this, like, really high marks in terms of engineering. And I do believe that you could make this more G1 accurate if you tweak the proportions a little bit. Then came the Thrilling 30, which was the first time they really tried to make something truly G1 accurate. Like, it has the same physical shape, it has her colors, and the vehicle mode is much more accurate to her original cartoon appearance. And this is a pretty darn good toy. It's true, she does have quite a bit more backpack, and unlike the original one, like I said, that has two separate pods, hers is just kind of one big thing back there. But it does I guess it does a pretty good job of folding away. It's in two separate pieces, one attached up by her shoulders and another attached down here on a lower part of her back. But if you look at her back, there really isn't anywhere near as much hollow space. There's a spot for her wheels to slide into, and hey, look, a part of her car that wasn't shoved onto her back. Who would have thought? I mean, it's true that the only parts of Arcee's car mode that are actually represented in her robot mode are her thighs, which are where her wheels are contained, and her chest, which is the hood of the car. And the way she transforms means that she can't have a waist joint. let's see. Can I? Yeah, because this has to come up and fold down into place. But you know what? A waist joint is a small price to pay for everything else that they gave her. Like she has really nice posability and articulation, and like thanks to the way her legs transform, you can even cheat and get them to go out a little bit farther than they normally would. It's like, this is a good toy. It looks a lot like her original G1 mode, and yes, it has backpack issues, but as far as like anyone who would complain about this one's backpack would only do so because they haven't seen later iterations of the toy. And like I said, at least some of the engineering went into making her transform. Then we had the Cyberverse figure, Cyberverse Bumblebee, and yeah, I mean, look at it. First of all, you're going back into the stylizations of the cartoon, although the cartoon stylizations are more G1-ish than the animated franchise was, so she does look a little more G1 accurate. But look at that. Her backpack is so massive, and unlike the Thrilling 30 figure, it doesn't really do anything to compact and fold itself away. It literally just hangs out there. And like, the animators of the show didn't know what to do with it either, because in the actual cartoon, she really does just transform into a robot with a gigantic car hanging off her back. Like, if you're making an original animation model for Arcee, this was your chance to try and find better ways to integrate her car mode into her robot mode. But they went the lazy route. I kind of blame them more because they knew that they were making a figure that would become a toy. Like, and they still just went the laziest route. I know you're trying to do the G1 homage, but hey, we're looking at a figure that did a perfect G1 homage without having to just make a gigantic backpack holding the entire car. So, yeah, what you gonna say about that? And then we have this latest iteration. Like, again, they did a perfect job of replicating her G1 appearance. That's fine. It actually looks more G1 accurate than the Thrilling 30, even if you don't take the color differences aside. Because remember, Takara did release a version of this figure with more G1 accurate colors. But I haven't even addressed the much more hollow plastic on the back. There's a lot more void space back there. But this is just ridiculous. This is absolutely egregious. Like, the backpack is not only massive, it's not even aesthetically pleasing. It's just a gigantic chunk on her back. And it doesn't even make a good-looking car. As you saw in the review, her car mode is outright ugly. I don't like her car mode at all. The Thrilling 31 has a much cuter car. So, yeah, like, this one has a better looking robot mode, and that's it. The transformation is terrible, and the car looks awful. And, like, the engineering is just so poor. Like, I really wish Hasbro would stop getting lazy on making the female characters in their line, because I've seen the other figures in the line and some of them look amazing. Even characters that have never had toys before have some really imaginative engineering and tooling to make things happen. But here with Arcee, it's like they feel like, oh, in the cartoon model, she had pods on her back, right? Give her an enormous backpack. Put the entire car there. Like, I really, really do not like how lazy they have gotten. And, like, seeing all the other female characters and what they've done with them lately. Like, for example, an entire wave of female figures being based off of one mold. Literal one mold. Like, and this is the first female character to get an original mold, and it's one of the worst shell formers I've ever seen. Like, literally any shell former before this, even the infamous Thunder Blast that just has a boat hanging off her back, at least her feet form the point of the boat. So one part of the robot actually became a part of the vehicle. Just like how with this one, these two panels on her arms at least become part of the car's kibble. Like, they form the car's side panels. So this has zero integration between robot and car mode. They're literally just trying to get rid of the car to make the robot as clean and skinny as possible. And I really hate that. Like I said, if we're continuing on this trend, like the next Arcee is going to just be a robot figure that just kind of like maybe folds her legs up a little bit, and then you would put her inside of a box that would be her car mode. Then you take the box off and that would be it. Like, I don't like this precedent. No, you're doing bad. Hasbro, you did a bad thing. I don't like what you're doing. And that's everything I have to say about that. I have finally officially spoken my piece about the Earthrise Arcee figure. Thank you all for indulging this rant, and this is Wake Angel 2001 signing off.